All right, so we're here in Michigan today. It's late summer, and honestly, this is one of my favorite times of year to throw a big topwater bait. You can throw it literally all day long here. It's clear water, you know, grass fishing for shallow, largemouth. So throwing a big topwater bait, most people think of, you know, relatively speaking, that it's an early morning or like late evening type of bait. It's not something that you throw all day. Once the sun gets out, they quit coming up and biting it on the surface. But we're gonna prove that wrong today, because this is a phenomenal topwater lake, and it's something that you can do all summer long and do it all day long. Junker. Not a bad one to start with. We're just kind of, right now, just cruising this little grass flat here. It's kind of a, got some eelgrass, little holes in eelgrass with an inside line, and that's perfect for these, especially early in the morning like this, for these bass to get up. They're cruising up shallow, chasing some bait fish around, and just kind of on this inside line where it's a hard sand and you know, grass line here with this eelgrass. So not a bad little one to start with, but let's see if we can get a few more. The conditions today really are ideal for throwing in topwater. It's pretty much glass calm here. So what I'm looking for is some of these little flats that have these clumps of eelgrass up on them, kind of right on the edge of some deep water. And it's a perfect ambush spot for some of these fish to come up, push some bait up on the edge of the flat, or you know, chase some bluegills around, stuff like that. So, and the sun's getting pretty high now, and they'll still come up and eat it pretty good, especially when you get conditions like that we have today, when it's calm like this. There's not much wind. A lot of times you're not going to get as many bites once the sun gets up, but generally speaking, when they do, it's a better, you know, better quality fish. Oh gosh. That one looked like it could have been a smallie. He's still behind it. Go. That was cool. Another little guy. That was cool though. He followed it all the way in, missed it 3 times. Wasn't shy about it, but he's just a little guy. When you're covering these flats like this, I mean, one of the biggest keys is you want a rod that you can throw it a long ways, trying to cover a lot of ground. And once you kind of figure out where you can get a couple bites in these grass flats, you can kind of hunker down and really work through them. But I'm using a 7'3". It has fairly parabolic action to it and a high-speed gear ratio reel, so you can really cast it a long ways, and then you can keep up with it and really work the bait back. Well, we've been going down through this grass flat here behind us, and we've had quite a few blow-ups and a couple decent ones too that had just missed it. So a lot of times when that happens, I like to mess with a couple different things. First thing, I'm gonna try something, one that's a little bit smaller. You know, maybe it's just that larger size bait that I had. They're not committing to it once they get to it. So I'm gonna put something on that's a little bit smaller and see, you know, maybe if that makes a difference. You know, the first thing I like to do is mess with colors and size. That's the kind of the number 1 and 2 things to look at when you're kind of making adjustments to topwaters. So I'm gonna start with size first. This lake's pretty clear, so I still like the natural colors. You know, a lot of largemouth and stuff like that around this grass. So I like the natural kind of bluegill is, you know, definitely one of the main forages of the bass in this lake. So like a natural bluegill color like this should be pretty good. There's one. Yeah, a little better one. Not much better, but he's a little better. Chunky one. A little grass one, little chunker. Not a giant one by any means, but just an thick little healthy bass. Good little tournament keeper. So one of the keys to topwater fishing is having a good retrieve and cadence. So you can throw this, you know, different topwater baits on a number of different things, whether it's a spinning rod or a bait caster like I'm using today. The key is just to have a smooth cadence, and you really want this bait, well, this bait particularly is a walking bait, so you want it to kind of walk back and forth. And once you get that cadence down, you can see them just making real small twitches and getting that bait to walk back and forth. And like I said, you can do this on a number of different things. A lot of people like to use spinning rods with topwater too. You can cast quite a bit farther with it that way. But just using a straight braided line, and once you get that cadence and let that bait walk back and forth, you just kind of keep it coming towards you. Nothing super crazy. You can kind of slow it down if you want to try to keep it in one spot a little bit more, or you can really speed it up and get that bait moving fast. And just kind of let the fish tell you what they want. There's a lot of different places, you know, for instance, like some of those herring lakes down south, they want a topwater moving really fast. So you want to keep that bait moving, keep it coming towards you. And then like some places like this up north where we're fishing over the top of grass, you want to kind of go a little bit slower. Just let that bait kind of almost chop in place a little bit, and it really just kind of triggers some of those fish up out of that grass. That's a little better one. Midday topwater bite. Again, the conditions are perfect for it. It's flat, calm out here. There's just a touch of breeze, but you know, topwater's not just a morning thing, it's an all day bait that you can throw, especially when you get the right conditions. That's a little better fish. The rod that I like to use for these, you know, casting these topwater baits, so you cast it a long ways. This is a 7'3". It's a Daiwa Kage, the moving bait versatile. It's a medium heavy action, but it has a pretty soft bend to it, kind of a fast action, so it's not doesn't have a super fast tip to it. Has a little bit more parabolic action, so you can really load that rod up, cast it as far as you possibly can. I throw it with a 20-pound this Daiwa J braid and a Daiwa Tatula Elite 8-to-1 gear ratio reel, so I can really keep that bait moving, and I can pick up that slack with that faster gear ratio reel. What I found to be one of the best setups that I really prefer for topwater fishing, especially when you're covering a lot of water, making long casts like this. Oh, a little better. That was cool. That one ate it, finally. That one smoked it. That's how you want them to eat it, for sure. Just like that, middle, I mean, slam middle of the day, it's 12:40, and they're still coming up and eating it like that. I mean, granted, we're over the top of some grass, but still coming up middle of the day on topwater. You can't beat it. I don't know if there's anything that